Welcome to our World Book Day Assembly. What is World Book Day? World Book Day was created on the 23rd of April 1995 as a worldwide celebration of books and reading. It is marked in over 100 countries around the globe. It is a chance to celebrate and enjoy reading for pleasure. Here are some teachers reading some extracts from their favourite books.
I read stories to grow by off the internet for my son Mofar, who is 11 years old, at bedtime. Stories like Goldilocks, stories like Snow White and the Dwarfs, stories like Aladdin. There are a lot of stories, so we read one every night, and it helps him to go to bed.
Does he have a favourite?
No, he doesn't have a favorite. So you just listen and then drift off to sleep. But for me, there are some that I like more than others, obviously. But all I do is just read one every night.
Room on the Broom is my favourite story because I remember reading it to my children when they were little. I'm just going to read you a small part. The witch had a cat and a very tall hat, and a long ginger hair which she wore in a plait. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat. When the wind blew so wildly, it blew off her hat.
We're going on a bear hunt. This is my favourite book. We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. We're not scared. Uh-oh, grass. Long, wavy grass. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. Oh no, we've got to go through it.
This is my favourite children's book. I used to read this to my son when he was 3 years old. And it's called Your Fantastic Elastic Brain. Stretch it, shape it. I'm going to read for you the first page. Your brain helps you think and remember and name what you see and what you hear. It lets you move your body and feel both touch and emotions. Your brain does all the things that make you you. Thank you.
This is my favorite book, The Iron Man. I remember reading this in school, and it brings back really good memories whenever I see it, whenever I read it. I'll just read the first page. And the first chapter is The Coming of the Iron Man. And just to let you know, the author is Ted Hughes. The Iron Man came to the top of the cliff. How far had he walked? Nobody knows. Where had he come from? Nobody knows. How was he made? Nobody knows.
This is Harry Potter, the Harry Potter book. This was my favourite book as a child. I'm just going to read a short extract. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was a director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large moustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbours. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion there was no finer boy anywhere.
Hi everyone, this is my favourite book. It's called Super Dog. It's my favourite book because I remember my mum read it to me, and I also read it to my daughter now. So I'm just going to read the first page. The Dog of the Air show was on the television. I love the way the dogs run so quickly, said Mum. They seemed to enjoy it too. They watched a dog called Pepper. She ran quickly and didn't make a mistake. I hope Pepper wins, said Chip. Okay, thank you, bye.
This is my favourite book, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. Look at me, look at me, look at me now. It's fun to have fun, but you have to know how. I can hold up the cup and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books and the fish on a rake. I can hold the toy ship and a little toy man. And look, with my tail I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan as I hop on the ball. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. This copy of this book used to belong to my nephew. He's 26 now. So he's given it to my daughter, and my daughter has been reading this most nights. It's a lot of fun. It's about Sally and her brother who are stuck inside because it's raining outside. They've been left by their mum and they don't know what to do to have fun. And then they get a visit from a cat in a hat who shows them how to have fun at home when it's raining.
This is my favourite story, The Three Little Pigs, and it's my favourite story because in the end the three little pigs end up winning against the big bad wolf. And I'll read. So, once upon a time there were three little pigs. They were very brave and they were bold, but they weren't very big. One fine day the little pigs set off to see the world.
My favourite story is We're Going on a Bear Hunt. It's my favourite because I remember reading it as a child and I like to share it with my class now. I'm going to read you one page. We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. We're not scared.
This book is Sweet Potato. I remember reading it as a child. It's my favourite book. Some vegetables are frozen for a very good reason. Don't believe me? Then keep reading. It was night time in the supermarket and all was quiet, but...
This is my favourite book. This is the Horrible Histories collection. This one is The Terrible Tudors. This is my favourite book because it has lots of factual information inside. Other tricks included selling tickets for plays that were never performed. A man called Richard Venner tried this and pocketed all of the money. But in the end, he was caught and thrown into prison. At first, Venner used his money to buy a private cell, good food and wine from the jailer. But when the money ran out, he was thrown into the hole with 50 other men to sleep on bare boards with 50 other men, women and children. The cold in winter, or the disease in summer, or the bad food killed anyone who stayed too long. The poet, Thomas Dekker, said that the hole, you are buried before you are dead. Richard Venner died.
This is my favourite book. It's called Kensky's Kingdom and it's written by Michael Morpurgo. I didn't read this as a child, but I have read it to my own children and previous classes that I've taught as well, and it's gone down really well. So I'm going to read a little bit from the book right now. So, I heard the wind above me in the sails. I remember thinking, this is silly. You haven't got your safety harness on. You haven't got your life jacket on. You shouldn't be doing this. Then the boat veered violently and I was thrown sideways. With my arms full, I had no time to grab the guardrail. We were in the cold of the sea before I could even open my mouth to scream. And there's a picture here of the boy in the water. And it's about a boy who gets shipwrecked and ends up on a desert island. But he's not alone, there's somebody else there with him.
This is my favourite book. It's called Elijah in Jupiter on the Loose. It's my favourite book because my son's in there basically. I got it made for him because he's got a love of reading and a love of Fireman Sam, so I just combined the two. This is an exciting story all about the day Elijah came to Pontypandy. Elijah visited the fire station and ended up helping Fireman Sam on a daring rescue.
My favourite book to read to my class is called The Colour Monster. I love this version of The Colour Monster because it's got pop-up pictures in it and it teaches you all about your different emotions. There's different books as well. They do another one called The Colour Monster Goes to School. If you've not read it, come and borrow it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is my favourite book. It's The Wizard of Oz, and it's my favourite book because it reminds me of my childhood. It's one of the very first films that my mum and dad took me to see at the cinema, and they always brought me books to read after. So I'll just read a couple of pages from the book. Okay, many years ago there was a little girl called Dorothy. Dorothy lived on a farm in Kansas, America. She lived with her aunt, her uncle, and a little dog, Toto. One day, Dorothy's aunt and uncle were working on their farm. Dorothy was in a house playing with Toto. Suddenly, a storm came and carried the house away. Dorothy was inside the house and she was very frightened. Where's the storm taking us? She asked her little dog.